The grumpiest of bears and loves to play, to make people laugh in every way. His jokes are sometimes crude and sometimes ass. With his wife of 15 years that is always having his back. Even when his dogs and cat are being a pain in the ass, he hopes this will always last. Even bring the fun to the masses, rolling due to money and being in every dungeon classes. With his goofy faces and voice all over the places, he hopes to never give up on his dreams. To bring joy and even the facts with his last podcast every week, and stream his friends to bring that energy like big booty claps. He never gets angry, but sure can get scared. With anime on his side, is always prepared. Even though he's the grumpiest of bears, this bear is always cool in his share. Till the end, his streams always beware, cause he coming after you and hopes you'll be there. To hope you'll have a good day, a good night, and as always have a good life. Much love, good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Much love, have a good night, good life. Grumpy Bear has always been there, even when life isn't fair, even when no one is there. He is thinking of you with love and care. Even if you say like I care, he still give you a big hug with love and hair. What hair? Cause he pulled the eyebrows that are clear. With his kind words, he's never afraid to share, giving you that good bear stare. Even his king, so beware, cause every weekend at 6:30 is bound to share. Stream setting in his chair on every platform that he can be there. Just as long as he know you'll play hard, so let him say this again to make it clear. Though life isn't fair, tell the industry to beware of this bear. So he will wish you a good day, a good night, and as always have a good life. Much love, good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Much love, have a good night.
Alrighty then. Thank you for those who are here, for those who are watching, maybe we're being in the world. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good night. As always, hope you have a good life. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to like button, subscribe down below. If you like this podcast, be sure to share with all your family and friends. And as always, we have myself, the grumpiest of bears, and Corvo Ninja. That is right now in the blackout because somebody decided to say, let's play, what is it? Chicken with the pole light. Let's just say that. And the pole won. Allegedly, we don't quite know that yet, but the power went out and police and ambulance went zooming by. So we can only assume that that would occurred. Kind of came out of nowhere. But today, we got some interesting news and we got some saddening news for those who do not know. We're not very much an informational podcast. We just talk off and go off the whim and things, but we give our opinions and our thoughts upon some things. So if you want to join in with the conversation, be sure be on here every Friday at 5 o'clock at time. And leave a comment down below if you're watching the VOD. Let me know that you're here. Rooster teeth, chicken. I don't care what you put down there. No. Just put something.
I'm doing podcast. Hold on.
Okay, so let's. I would say you hide whatever you're holding. Turn off your camera. Turn your camera the other way. Right now, Corvo's on his phone, so it's kind of hard to for y'all to see him. Don't worry. Hopefully, the power will be on the next hour. If not, we're gonna be playing. What's the word for it? We're gonna be playing lightsaber battles in the next 45 minutes or so. But okay, we're getting to the first scene now. I want to jump into this one because I thought this was something else, and I did not know about this one. What up there? Need a few solar panel batteries for the router and the laptop. Yeah, solar panels would be great. In any capacity, at least if you have some way of storing the power. So what is this? Twilight of the Gods. I watched a clip of this. This is okay. It's animated, so therefore it is still classified as anime. But the art style doesn't have the truest feel of an anime, and it is a I would say, dare say, in this day and age, another protagonist of a woman being all powerful, fighting against the gods or a group of gods, right? Is it
the Norse gods?
So Odin gods, Norse. Okay, Odin. Now I thought this was another TV show that I don't know if you've ever seen before, where it's a live TV show or live actor TV show where Odin and his like son, he goes around talking to a bunch of the gods, and apparently people stop praying to the gods, and he's trying to get the gods to become back in power again. And the guy was played by I forget the name of the director from John Wick, really great actor. I'm going, okay, that one. I want to see that TV show. I'm going, maybe Corvin knows about it, but then I looked up what you talked about, and it wasn't not that. And I guess it's another Netflix special, a Netflix only.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically, the way this one works is it's showing you a more it's going to show you a more vengeful, wrathful side of some of the gods we've come to expect to be all good and just.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because even Thor, Odin, even some of those guys, they had things that pissed them off, and they didn't mind showing their wrath when they were mad.
Yeah.
And that's what leads into this. Essentially, a female warrior and a male warrior, they end up meeting and falling in love. They get married even though they know it's going to piss off the gods. And then Thor basically shows up at their wedding and smites everybody but her. And I'm not sure if her husband lives or not, but smites almost all of their relatives and close friends and shit. So she goes and besieges Loki to help her take vengeance on the other gods.
Okay. And I guess, does she have to do things for Loki? Like, because I saw one clip of her taking on Thor. I'm going, but Thor is usually like, yeah, he normally is a righteous person, but he's normally like a good guy, right? Or is Thor in mythology actually like a dick?
It depends. There's different accounts of Thor. There's accounts of Thor where he's Thor the just and mighty.
Yeah.
And then there's accounts of Thor being petty and ruthless to people that cross whatever rules he lays down.
Okay. All right. Well, I would imagine like maybe one is in one part of his life, another one's another part of his life. Maybe at first he was petty and cruel, and later on he got a little bit more, justice like. I don't know.
No, like with all mythology, like there's mythos out there where Greek gods, some of the Greek gods and demigods that we thought were just and true, there's actually mythos out there from old times saying they weren't quite as kind as everyone makes them out to be. So
yeah,
it kind of depends.
It's kind of like the characters in Black Myth Wukong. Let's see, the Thor was situated on unusually involved drinking. Well, yeah. Fun facts: Odin was not a nice god when he was young. Yeah, when he was young, he was ruthless. But it's kind of like the Chinese mythos in the Wukong series of games. The gods were sometimes cruel, or sometimes playfully cruel, in a means of like they would seek people as lesser than, to the point where they would just mess with them just for fun. Like they would ruin their lives just for fun. They were humans. They could be toyed at their whim and mess with the whim. Like there's this one girl in the game that a god in the mythos just straight up like, hey, she liked you, so I'm gonna turn her into a pill, and you can carry her around for the rest of her life. As a reminder that, I turned her into a pill and you never have her. It's like, have fun with that. It's like, what the heck? He's just like, yeah, I don't like her. And you liked her, so she's a pill now.
There's precedence for that even in Greek mythology. I mean, just look at Medusa and what happened to her. She was raped in a temple by Poseidon. And instead of the goddess that she was worshiping and devoted her life to taking it out on the god that caused the problem, she fucking turned her into a Gorgon.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you've been raped, you're traumatized by God, no less. Now we're gonna make you so fucking ugly that the mere gaze that people, the mere thought of looking at you, gazing upon you, will turn a man to stone.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
How is? Huh?
And then you're gonna have, Hercule. Is it Hercule? I forget if it's Hercule, but then have another man going, yeah, then now go kill her. It's like, you could go cure? No, go kill her.
That was Perseus.
Perseus, yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, she's cursed, she's been fought, and she's been messed by the god. Now she's in this snake-like body, and she's ugly. Let's just chop her head off.
Hold on, we may be able to swap over.
Yeah. So it is very weird. That how gods are usually supposed to be in the light of, like, they're supposed to be your savior. They're supposed to help you. As long as you pray to them and thank them for their stuff, they'll take care of you. And no, they just think you're just a little toy to smack around with. Look at Zeus did when he did sleep with people and kill hundreds. Killed the husband who left because of it. Yeah. Zeus was also, gods back then were really messed up. In mythology, and really, if you're taking modern day stuff, our gods look like like angels in comparisons. You actually know that, like, there's still some people out there, even to our modern day, that still worship, like, Odin and Zeus, and like a lot of them, like, and then when a lot of the people moved over from, like, Europe and stuff like that, a lot of those pagan people came over and still have temples to this day of in here in America.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a faith. I mean,
it's a religion.
Religion doesn't die. It might dwindle, it might get smaller, but it doesn't die.
Not necessarily.
It only dies if nobody knows about it. As long as one person knows that.
Up. Okay, he might have been switching over cameras here, so give him a second. He's back. Okay, what's okay?
I'm working on it.
I'm assuming lights in the background means there's light in the house. There's power, or in
Yeah,
some
there's
sense.
lights in the background, lights in the house, and my Discord's coming up on my computer now. So give me a minute.
You wouldn't have this problem if we switched over to 5G. God.
Yeah.
We're rotating, Stealthy. Everybody in the chat's rotating. Okay. But yeah, the TV show looks interesting. The voice acting looked interesting. Let's just go ahead and just get, like, before we go too much into the details of the story, what would you rate it? Like, would you rate a must watch? Because, like, Netflix has been really a hit or a miss for me in the past 2 or 3 years, and I'm scared to watch another one that I will be like, I could have been watching something else and been much happier.
Well,
I would have been upset.
It depends on how invested you are into certain types of material. Like, for me, I like Greek mythology. I like Norse mythology. So I'm gonna watch it.
3 or 1 or none.
So it's
one from the base.
So
Okay.
it's more like not just a style, but it's also about a universe for which you like, and you like the North mythology, you like the god mythology. I'm assuming he will be right back. There we go. He switched the cameras. So you're more invested in something with that title. That's why you liked Ragnarok, the anime, because it had that theme to it. So you're a person that likes TV shows that like that. I can see that really being up your alley. The microphone is garbage right now. Just let you know. It sounds like it's monster. Just waiting. We'll get him back.
Now?
There we go.
There we go.
So yeah, you're heavy into that. So I guess if it's not if it's if it's horror or has like a godlike theme to it, you really like that that vibe. That's your jam. So if you're into that kind of things, that would be a reason why you should check out this anime. Not because it has a female protagonist, not because it was done by Netflix, because the story is in a universe or into a theme that you delight in.
Right. I look at it like this. So there's a lot of the Netflix animes that I have liked that some people haven't,
Mhm.
and then it's largely because I like the content, like what it's based off of,
Yeah.
more so than anything. So I try to approach all of it. Not I try to approach it now not as who it's coming from, but what is it about
Hmm.
before I start judging anything. Like I enjoyed. I mean, we both enjoyed Castlevania. That was on
Yes.
Netflix. Okay. They've done some good ones, they've done some bad ones, but to me, they haven't done any more bad ones than anybody else, or any more good ones than anybody else. It's a hit and miss thing. You're gonna have good ones,
Hmm.
you're gonna have bad ones. Um, so you're just gonna have to feel your way through it, and if you get tired of that, then that is a personal choice, and that's just the way that goes. Um, it's kind of like playing D&D. I mean, there's character classes that people love, but I hate them.
Hmm.
You know, and there's character classes that I love that other people hate. It's just the way it goes.
So, do you recommend this show for those who like Greek myth?
I
Or not,
recommend
not
that
Greek,
you
but
at least give it a shot. If you like Norse mythology, you like finding different facets about those gods that you may not have known, or seeing a different take on the gods. So, because for example, this may not be historically accurate, but
yeah.
it may be someone's point of view saying, "But what if?" What
Okay.
if this is how this happened? And you can see that god or that mythos in a different light. Um, it's kind of like when you watch the What If of the Avengers.
Hmm.
That's the whole purpose of it. It's not the Avengers, but what if it was? You
Yeah.
know, what
Um. Well, the original Avengers definitely stayed true to the source, which was always appreciated. Um, but they would like they were throwing their own story to it. It's like, okay, here's a story. If this is how they came about knowing each other, but the characters were still true to who they are. The characters still acted the way they were portrayed in the not mangas, in the comics. So there was never a question like, "Hey, is this the Thor I know from comics, or is this the Thor I know from the movies?" They were pretty much the same. They all acted the same, but like then the different events would occur in the movies, and they're like, okay, if this was happening in the comics, they would probably do just like this, which is always appreciated. But when it comes to original stories and giving that view of it, it's much more challenging for viewers to just go along with it. Would you say it's easy to grasp? Like, it doesn't feel like this could be a true story if the gods were
I
real?
feel like it's because, like I said, I'm. It's hard for me to answer for the average Joe because I feel like because of what I know, mythology wise, whether it's true to mythology or not, I can see them doing these things
Hmm.
in a different if they were in a different mindset, because I know what I kind of get the psychology of the character.
Yeah.
So like for example, I know you're a fun-loving, happy-go-lucky, like to joke kind of person, but I could also see, knowing you the way I know you, that if a certain line was crossed, you could be completely the other way. And it wouldn't surprise me to see that side of you. You understand?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I approach it like that. Like, I know this is not how they act, but I could also see they could be capable of doing this given certain circumstances.
Okay. I could. Okay, I can see that now. Art style. the art style was not like a very popping art style. It kind of gave me a vibe.
They used the art style that's very similar to the Blue Eye Samurai.
Yeah, Blue Eye Samurai also kind of like it somewhat remind me of Samurai Jack, kind of. In that vein of a flat coloring, not very much shadings and stuff like that. It's not bad looking. So I can appreciate it from aesthetically artwork. I wonder if there's a manga of it. Do you know by any chance? Just in case somebody.
I do not know.
Okay,
I do
so
not know. I haven't done that deep a dive on it. I do know that they're starting to use more flat tones when doing stuff like this when they're doing the art, because if you look at the color palette they had available in those times, they were more flat tones anyway.
yeah.
So they're trying to make it artistically pleasant, but also kind of accurate from a color tone standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not gonna see popping ass blue scroll work on a tunic on a warrior.
No.
You know,
No.
it's just not gonna happen back then. You might see a flat blue, some basic blue they could make out of some berries and shit, so they're trying to go more flat with it. The only time you were going to see something that was that popping, that bright, that standoutish was it was a more royal lineage, and then they worked their ass off to get that color, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, you're gonna I see this as kind of a hybridization between anime and cartoon. It's not cartoon,
Yeah.
but it's not quite anime. It's somewhere in between.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see like could this TV show stand on its own, right? Like, will people remember this for the story, the art? Is this a rememberable anime, or is just one of those kind of like fleeting TV shows that somebody just did to?
It's all going to be about how you take it and how much interest you have in the content. Like for me, I'm probably not going to forget it, just simply because it'll be one of the first times I've seen them use Loki in this way. I mean, granted, in Avengers, Loki bounced back and forth between the asshole and a guy that's trying to do it right, but still come off as an asshole, you know? But in reality, in real mythology, Loki was the trickster. He was the one that fucked with everybody.
Yes.
That was like his sole purpose in life. So in the respect that I see someone willingly going to him to ask him for help, that's different. Most people didn't willingly go to Loki to ask for help.
You have to be a real good strategic person in order to trick people, in order to mess with people. You can't just go up to him and poke him and go, ha ha. It's not that simple.
I mean, how many you gonna go fuck with a dude whose wife is a giant fucking wolf?
Yeah,
I'm not fucking with him. If he can bed a wolf, I don't want to think about what he'll do to my ass.
yeah. So there is precedence. You know, just because you're a trickster doesn't mean you're evil either. It just means you trick people that are. You can trick evil people. You can trick the bad person. You can trick the bad person thinking that they're doing something, and really they're just falling into your trap. It's not. A trickster, of course, back then is kind of like dishonorable, right? Like you're doing cheesy tricks. You're not fighting with just pure honor and point blank what your intent was to be. No, and this kind of theme and Loki's sense magic. It was trickery, but if it won him the fight, there's no the winner.
Right.
The winner who's losing, right?
But a lot of his stuff he earned mythologically by tricking people in a not so positive way.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to say, I would think to me, Loki is like Rumpelstiltskin. You make a deal, and then he fucks you with your deal.
Yeah,
he fucks you with your deal.
Yeah. He can trick you into your own
He's
demise.
like a djinn. You know, real genies or djinn. You never got your wish granted without paying a price. You know, and that price
Some twist.
was almost always worse than whatever it was you were wishing to be out of, because that's how they got their rocks off. You know, it's funny how that works, and the E3 were the same way. I mean, it goes back and forth. You know, it's kind of how you look at things, how you see things. Different. Like, you can go to the northern part of a country that has a set of gods, and they look at the gods as all powerful gods that were always doting on them and made sure what they had. And then you can go to the southern part of that same place that believes in the same gods, and all of them may say there's a bunch of assholes and all they do is shit on us and they torture us. You view it in the respect of how do I feel they have impacted me. Some people are going to believe that they've had nothing but a positive impact on them. Some people are going to believe they've had nothing but a negative impact on them. It's easy to blame someone else for failings and say, oh, the gods are evil and they fucked me and they did all this. And then there's some people that will blindly say, oh no, the gods have always provided for me, and you know.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they gave me life, they let me breathe, and they give me food in my mouth. Oh yeah, they did a great job. You mean basic necessities. Otherwise, they wouldn't get prayers. Oh, thank you for that kind of stuff. Yeah, I not gonna get to that. So, you recommend it to those who like Greek mythology. You like the art style, the voice acting. The voice acting sound pretty decent.
People that like Norse mythology.
Yeah.
Yes.
The voice acting seemed pretty decent. If you can give it a one out of 10 kind of scaling, what would you put it at for yourself? For yourself.
Right now, I'm gonna say it's between a 7 and an 8.
7 and 8. So some people would call 7s decent. So that's what you give yourself. If you're bored or you don't have nothing else to watch, go try it out. Go check it on Netflix. Okay, real quick though. I know Netflix increased their pay on their stuff and increased it, and even the cheaper version still comes with commercials. What's your thoughts about it? I never asked you this question before. How do you feel that Netflix increased the price of basic Netflix, but then even then it still comes with commercials?
I don't care if there's commercials there or not.
Nah. I am a mind of I don't like
and
commercials.
we don't have commercials, but I don't
Mhm.
care if there's commercials, because those commercials pay for part of the infrastructure that keeps the service going.
I think if you were grandfathered in, you shouldn't have
I've
to have
never had a
commercials.
commercial on. I've never had a single commercial on Netflix, and I only have basic.
Basic's supposed to come with commercials now.
I have no commercials.
Huh.
I
Choose to downgrade to that price.
I don't know. But I just know that like they're basic, they're the lowest price one
That's
was supposed to be.
$7.
Yeah, that was supposed to be like got up in price, and there was supposed to be added commercials for that tier.
They charge us like 23.
Yeah, I've always paid. I've always paid. Well, when I bought it, when I got my subscription, I got the lowest one they had, but I've never had a commercial.
Well,
They just increased the price and we didn't care.
And over the years, they would increase the price for the service as it went along, and I never cared, because I've got 2 kids and I don't feel like hearing I can't watch my show, you know.
yeah.
So I pay it. I mean, we literally budget for the subscriptions we have. And we budget over what it actually is. So if it does go up a little bit, it's usually not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I got a lot of subscriptions. I'm not gonna say I don't.
Oh yeah, Southie. You might have to teach me either how to start the lightning campaign on my account, or I might have to borrow yours, because I can't seem to be able to get to work, so I can start getting going and start inviting the people over to the campaign. So at
For
some
the
point,
little grump campaign. Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll have to do it from hers because you have to have the subscription we have for her to be
Mhm.
able to be a DM.
Okay.
So you'll have to log. You're gonna have to log into her account. She can walk you through how to set things up stuff too. But you just need to let her know when you have free time.
Mhm.
Right now she is. I think she's studying. No, no, but she has been toting around the Ravenloft book like it's a damn school book. She even got asked the other day, "Where were you at?" She was at the dentist and had it with her when she took the little one to get his dental work done.
Uh-huh.
And she walked in with it in her arm. They're like, "Oh, you studying for a class?" She's like, "Kinda, but not really."
Class of beating their asses.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I was looking over our party build, by the way, for all the people in our party the other day.
Yeah.
We have no one that can go stealth. I mean, we can roll stealth, and if we pass, we'll be stealthy. But as far as like rogue disappearing, reappearing shit, we have no one
So
that can do that.
somebody in their class, somebody needs to go ahead and if they can spec into getting pass without a trace, that would just be helpful. Somebody go into pass without a trace. Damn it, we need it.
Uh, but if you want me to be honest, it's a horror type campaign, so I have a sneaking suspicion that no matter how much we want to disappear, we're going against monsters to make a living about disappearing and dismembering people. So I don't think it's really gonna work real well. So that's why I hedged my bets on I'm gonna fuck you up.
I'm gonna fuck you up. Okay. So let's jump into the next one. Next one's not very much a happy memory. But this is a passing of a, as Corvo said it, a silencing of a legendary voice. This past week, a very beloved voice actor that played Lord Vader has passed away. Jim Early Jones.
James Earl Jones.
Earl Jones. Sorry, I said Early. Earl Jones has passed away, and this guy is pretty much like the father of mine and of our childhood or growing up years. This guy played every father and uncle in the freaking book.
And narrated 90% of the things that we watched as kids that had a narrator.
Yeah.
I mean,
so he passed away, what, 3 days ago, I want to say.
I think it was 3 days ago. I can't. I was traumatized. I almost left work. I'm not gonna shit you. Like someone sent it to me because I was working, and I had to stop, take a breath, and take a minute. And here's the thing: this is how you know it impacted so many people. The manager
4
of my
days.
department walked by and seen me sitting back in my chair, rolled back from my desk a little bit, and goes, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And I told him, and he looked at me and said, "If they weren't here, we'd all go home." I was like, "Are you fucking?" Because some of our owners were there. He's like, "If they weren't here, I'd send the IT department home." Because I mean, who's bigger geeks than IT people? I mean, everybody in my department was like putting crying emojis in the fucking chat and fucking Luke, I am your father, fucking memes and shit. And I'm like, and then somebody had to do Mufasa falling off the cliff, and that was it. I was done. I got up, fucking went outside. I said, I got to go hit my vape.
So yeah, he died on the 9th. He died at 93 years old. Yes. So okay, so real quick here though, I don't want to make light jokes of this. This is one guy on YouTube that made a joke the other day. He said like 95% of people that do your line of work are a bunch of furries, and if furries were ever illegal, 90% of the tech people would be gone. I'm like, wow, like Coral's not a furry.
I'm very far from a furry.
So I'm like, I don't know how much that's true. I don't know many people that in that line of work other than Corvo.
He's never met the people in my department, because if I lined up my infrastructure group, you'd think we all went to the gym together. We got some big mofos. Like, at our place of business, if shit goes south, they don't run and get security, they run and get IT. Because when IT comes in, they're like, oh shit.
So, so like some of his early movies were in 1982, back down even down to 1972. This guy's been in the movie industry for well over a decade or close to it. He died at 93. So he's been in movies even modern day. But his most known movies are The Lion King and Star Wars. And for me, I'm trying to find the other one that he was in, Coming to America, which was a very big deal. Conan.
Yeah, for me, it was like Sandlot, Field of Dreams, Lion King, Star Wars. I mean, if you could think of a deep voiced older African American grandpa or pissed off fucking uncle or old man that didn't want you in his yard, that was him.
Yeah.
You know?
And this guy was a living.
Lion King, Conan the Barbarian, The Sandlot, Field of Dreams.
Yes, I had that same list up.
2, Return of the Jedi, Clear and Present Danger, Doctor Strangelove, Sandlot 2, Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins.
I have all those pulled up right now.
Yep.
The Lion King 2.
Yeah, yep.
Strikes Back, Soul Man, Meteor Man, Family Thing, The Big O Long Traveling, The Great White Hope.
We got it. We got you. Yeah. He was, dude. He was all over the fucking place. And if you look, there's some of those movies he's not physically there. It literally says narrator.
Yeah.
In a lot of them. And the reason he's the narrator is because when he narrated a fucking story, everybody was like,
yeah, tuned
God?
in. Yeah, tuned
God?
in.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan
it's
Freeman.
like Morgan Freeman when he does a narration. Like those two people, when they speak and they're narrating a show, you're like looking to the heavens, like,
yeah, they had literally the ideal voice for a radio station. They had a voice that you listened in and tuned in for and respected just by the voice alone. And that's a voice I wish I could have, but I will never have because my voice is too high pitched. But boy, it was impactful, and he didn't need to like change it or alternate it or try to. They just spoke, and that came off that way, and that is that is almost just like, in my sense, almost a godsend. Like it's like you're just born with a gorgeous voice that everybody just on the sound of it, you know who it is. You don't question, but then when you hear it in another character, you don't question it as the actor. You just immediately feel like that's the voice of that thing. But you never going, oh, that's obviously Robert Williams or Jim Carrey. No, that is Daddy. That is God.
What?
Should I let Grumpy tell you?
Yeah, let Grumpy tell me. He likes to tell me shit. I don't know what she's going to tell you to tell me, but now I'm nervous because she's thinking about sending it to you to tell me.
I will wait. But yeah, it was sad to see that you hear it. Like I didn't know about it until you told me about it because like I said, I had not been on the internet for the past couple days. I've been
in memory of
okay.
I love it. It's absolutely fantastic.
What is? Oh, really? Okay. Raven is.
We're not sure, but somebody,
Yeah, Raven's supposed to be announced in Lucasfilms in 2027. It's a bit off. If you got you got another 2 or 3 years, but really?
Wait, what word did you say?
Raven.
Revan?
Sorry.
Oh shit! I gotta live for at least 2 more years.
Yeah, so it's a bit off, but
that is literally my favorite fucking Jedi.
He looks like a badass,
dude.
And people
are the one.
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic. He's the one.
And of course, people are already saying Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah.
People are already saying Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is from a group. It's called Lucasfilm announces exciting new standalone Star Wars film, Revan. San Francisco, California, Lucasfilm is thrilled to announce the development of a new standalone film set in an expansive Star Wars universe titled Revan. This highly anticipated film will explore the iconic character of Revan, a legendary figure from the Old Republic, and will be portrayed by Keanu Reeves.
No one could do that character better, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo del Toro.
What? Say so? What?
Guillermo del Toro.
Holy shit!
The writer will be Drew Karpshin. I'm not sure. And it's going to be based in Coruscant, Corridon, Dantooine, and a couple of unknown regions.
Well,
It has to be in Dantooine. Never
well,
mind.
they got
My Star Wars nerd was about to come out. Hang
They
on,
got-
I'll push him back in here.
yeah.
Mm.
They got 3 years to write it, to start making it, or start filming it, and then editing it, and then releasing it.
Well,
So,
listen, they've been anticipating this film for like 2 years.
mm,
Not necessarily the actor, but the film has been anticipated for at least 2 years. So if they're trying to pull the shit that I think they're pulling, they probably have written this already.
yeah. Well, I'm hoping they're starting to, like I said, the fad that's been up the past for a couple years are starting to finally pull back, and they're starting to going back to the old school of making movies, and they really if they're gonna make a movie and then not piss off a fan like you of a character that you really liked from some of the
I mean, hold on.
some
I'll
original
show you my
games.
love. I'll show you my love.
Like, if any time not to change anything about a character or about a story, I think now is the time not to change it and go full throttle with what the original intent of the character was. And yeah, there he is from the game. Yeah, purple saber and a red saber.
Yep.
Is he a Sith? He's
Well,
No.
he is. Yes, he is.
Yes.
He's okay. If they go by game lore, which is where
And in the beginning, basically.
he starts as a Jedi,
yeah.
he goes dark, and then comes back to the Jedi.
Okay. So he was a Jedi, then Sith, then Jedi. So he embraced both sides, kind of like Luke eventually does.
The way it worked is he was a Jedi. During the time, he come up and was trained and became a Jedi during the time of the Mandalorian War.
Yeah.
Where the Republic was fighting Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that the Jedi should take an active stance in the war because of how many people were dying to the Mandalorians.
Mm-hmm.
The Jedi Council said, nah, we're not taking sides. We're not getting in this shit.
Yeah.
Well, he was all about the preservation of life, so he took his Padawan and he hauled ass off with the Republic and helped defeat the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
In the process, for lack of a better term, it was almost like he was excommunicated from the order, and he went down a dark path.
Robot.
How about now?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Excommunicated dark path.
Yeah, he went down a path thinking it was a dark path, but he thought he was on a path that would ultimately secure peace for the entire galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
He just was going about it the wrong fucking way.
Okay.
Well, they sent a squad of Jedi or group of Jedi to engage him, led by a young Jedi with a very specific force power called battle meditation. Her name was Bastila.
Mm-hmm.
while she was engaged in combat with him, like most Sith, his Padawan took the opportunity to have his ship attack his master's ship.
Okay.
Which ends up getting him injured and allowing Bastila to use her battle meditation plus some force abilities to essentially wipe his memory. So when he wakes up again, he wakes up like a brand new person. Not in the Jedi Order, not a Sith, nothing.
Okay.
Ultimately, he ends up back at the Jedi Temple. And of course, the Jedi Council knows who he is. But somehow, they're convinced into allowing him to train as a Padawan again. And through his training as a Padawan and his travel back to the light side as a Jedi, his memories start coming back. He realizes some of the shit he did was really fucked up.
Yeah.
And he needed to stop his Padawan because what he thought was going to save the universe is not going to save the universe.
Okay. So redemption arc.
Right. And then in the end, the reason you don't see him anymore is at the end, you know, everything's all peaches. And when the second game comes up, you find out from a Sith master that knew him at one point that the last communication she had with him or with anybody that had with him was that he had sensed an overwhelming presence of darkness far beyond the edge of their known space.
Yeah.
And he had hopped the fucking ship and hauled ass out there to try to be like our first line of defense, right? And that's why he's gone. Well, supposedly you don't see Bastila because Bastila broke one of the few taboos and fell in love with him. So when he hauled ass, she hauled ass to find out where the fuck he was going. And that's the last, as far as video game wise, we know that happened to the two of them. Which is one of the reasons why I am so excited that they're remastering Knights of the Old Republic as a game for PS5.
Yes.
And now they have the news that this may be coming, so hey, I'm all about it.
Okay. Again, we got 3 years. 3 years, a lot of things can change. They can cancel it. They can rewrite it. They can re-script it.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it sticks this time. They've talked about it before, and it's been put on hiatus, and talked about it before and put on hiatus, but I will tell you this. Disney's been getting a lot of shit. Lucasfilms has been getting a lot of shit for some of the stuff they put out recently. If they want to redeem the Star Wars and pull it back and bring it back to the mainstream,
yeah,
and they do this one well, they can do that.
Oh yeah, like they have all the capabilities.
They don't do it well, if they do not do it well, they're gonna make things 20 times worse for themselves.
Somebody made a little comedy sketch of a I forget what it was about, but like in one part of it, they had a Star Wars fan, and it was this grotesque looking gentleman. It was a cartoon, grotesque looking dude dressed up like in like a all Star Wars like get up, holding a lightsaber, acting completely like the R word. I'm not gonna say it because nowadays, for some reason, you get in trouble for saying the R word. And it was pretty much just saying, like, you know, it was like, oh, anything, like, anytime we put out something Disney, these guys come out of the woodworks and start, just love it up and just eat all of it up. I'm like, no, that's not true. It's more nowadays than mad.
They're very hateful.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you, there was a couple of things that Disney's done that I loved, and then there's been a couple that I've hated. It's just where they're going with it. Like, I also think if they were to decide to do kind of like they decided to do Obi-Wan or they decided to do the Mandalorian, if they were to do like Vader and do us some time frame between the time he became Vader and the time he ran into Luke.
Yeah.
You know, give us that time frame, and they did it really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like after it left off at the end of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I think if they did that and they did it really well, it could pull people back. Because I'm going to tell you, those last 2 fight sequences in Obi-Wan was the shit. The absolute shit.
I read this or seen this one comic strip. It was like a 2 or 3 page comic strip where Vader landed on this one planet, and a whole army of people showed up, and all of them were pointing their guns at Vader, and it said, "We have you surrounded. You know, surrender." You know, it was a trap. Like, I am not trapped. You are. And he just does this, and all of them go flying into the sky and just slam down on the ground like a puppet. And he's like, "Yeah, no." It was like thousands of people too. He just went.
The thing is people don't realize, because the movies did not show just how powerful Vader actually was. They really didn't.
No.
They gave you a little glimpse of he could force choke you. They gave you a little glimpse that he was a badass with a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show him standing on a TIE fighter, flying through space and force crushing fucking ships flying by.
Mm-hmm.
Or slicing a ship in half. They didn't show him crushing people with the Force. You
Like
know?
armies of people too, not just
Yeah,
like
they didn't show any of that.
4 or 5. Like
think
armies.
about this was Anakin. We know that Luke was born of 2 humans.
Mm-hmm.
His father was Anakin. If Luke got to the point in his older age to where he could force project himself across the galaxy and kick his nephew's ass on another planet, what do you think Vader could have done?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is wild that how they portrayed him in the movies, but in the books or in the comics, these were comics. They showed the true scarcity, and apparently Lord Vader was like he didn't need to do all those flips and acrobatics and all that stuff like that because of his body's limitation. He learned a new style of lightsaber combat that allowed him for little movement, but it was like precise, like it was dead accurately precise. He didn't need to flips or twists or fancy movements.
He was one of the most force sensitive beings ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he was already hell on wheels with a lightsaber before he was chopped up and stuck in a fucking suit. You know? If you watch, he had those abilities to do the flips and twirls and kicks and stuff when he was Anakin. Unfortunately, Obi-Wan took that shit away from him, and he had to learn a different way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people didn't realize how badass Obi-Wan was either. But you watched the last encounter between him and Vader in the Obi-Wan series, and you find out Obi-Wan was no fucking pushover. I mean, he put the hurt on Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he sliced his ass in half. He was instrumental in multiple Sith Lords' downfall. He was no fucking slouch. But everybody always played it off as Obi-Wan was just the old man that helped raise and teach Anakin. Well, no, Obi-Wan wasn't no fucking slouch, and if you watch those battle sequences, you'll find out there's a very real reason why Vader looked at Obi-Wan as his only real fucking competition.
Yeah. Unless you watch the TV series that came out with Obi-Wan couple months back where he was running around scared of, at the shadow of Lord Vader. They really made him seem really scarce. I didn't watch it, but like the little clips I saw, he was running around like a scaredy cat. I'm like, I don't remember Obi-Wan being that scared of him. I thought he was worried of him. He knew his power, but like he wasn't running away from a bully.
In the TV show?
Yeah, in the TV show.
No, you got to watch the end of it.
The end of it?
The end of it, he is not scared. They go balls to the wall, and it is on. he was.
You're forgetting it's
the
not
re-
that he's scared. He just doesn't
Here's the
wanna face
thing.
him.
In the TV show, you got to remember that this is 10 or 15, however old Luke was, 8, something like that. This is 8 years later. He hasn't been practicing the Jedi arts. He's been living a mediocre life off of mediocre food. He has like lost some of his mojo. Okay, he's even buried his lightsaber somewhere. Okay, by the end of it though, he has found his lightsaber. He gets into an altercation with Vader, and because he's not at top speed, he does get his ass handed to him for a little while. But when everything finally clicks back in place,
Yeah.
he comes out running, son. And Vader's like, "Oh shit, okay. We back up at top speed. I gotta up my game back up here. I was fucking around, but I can't fuck around no more."
Yeah, because like the clips they were giving, I guess of course, like anything online, people take things out of clips or out of context real easy and show one narrative of the story and then give you the information. They're like, oh man, they make him seem so scared. Like, why? Like he's the reason why Anakin's the way he is right now. Obi-Wan is a fucking beast.
The biggest thing was he don't want to face Vader because he loves Vader. He looks at as Anakin like the little brother. Who wants to fucking fight their little brother and kill him?
I thought he maybe looked at him more like a son.
No, he looked at him like a little brother because Anakin looked at Qui-Gon as the daddy.
Oh, true.
That's how that went. And he doesn't want to face him because he knows that in the end one of the two of them are going to die. There's no half-ass about that. And what put it like this, that scar that he has on his face when Luke removes his helmet, in the movie.
Yeah.
Fucking Obi-Wan's the one that gave it to him. And that was after he had already chopped his ass up into pieces and he was in the suit.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I decided to sit to watch it because, like I said, I didn't get to watch it. I saw just clippings of it and going, I just don't feel like that's how this should have came out. Because my idea of Obi-Wan was always a badass, badass person.
You should watch it again because you get to see where it is possible for a Jedi, if they don't stay prevalent with their connection to the Force, they can have a lag time between where they are currently and getting back up the power. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Let me just ask you this quick question: are you gonna be buying the new Zelda game when it comes out?
That's a good question.
I keep on seeing like little clippets of it, or keep on seeing little advertising for it. I know it's coming out soon, and some people are excited for it. I wouldn't mind trying to get it. It's the first time that you're actually gonna play solely as Zelda in the game, and it has a very interesting vibe, but it kind of calls back to the original like Ocarina of Time, and it's like.
Are you talking about Echoes of Wisdom?
I believe so. Where it's just Princess, not about to call it Princess Peach, Princess Zelda as the main character, and it's like right after Link kills I want to call him Ganon.
I would totally play that.
Yeah, I'm interested in trying it out, but I was like,
it gives me Pokemon vibes, like the animations.
Well, to me,
Pokemon vibes.
Like they did like a more of a 3D world dimension of the original Ocarina of Time for the Super Nintendo kind of vibes. Like it's top down, little sprites, very cartoonish world, but it's more 3D than it's pixels. But I'm interested to see what it is. There's a lot of games I want to get. Like we got that game, we got Myth the Wukong, and we have Visions of Mana. I'm like, God dang it, too many games I want right now.
Listen, I'm telling you. I am going to hold as soon as I get my car where I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Money will be held because I'm buying a PlayStation 5 because I have at least 2 games already that I
Yeah.
want.
And it's
I
not a
mean,
PlayStation 5 Pro.
no. I want the I want to have it so that when they release the remake of Knights of the Old Republic, and I also want it for Final Fantasy 16, I believe is the one that they just released not too long ago. It looks sick as shit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play it. There's a lot of games that I see coming for that console that make me go, huh?
Yeah, I just hope they don't go and go, all right, here's the Pro in the next following year, and here's the PlayStation 6. Because like every time they go from like the original console to the Pro console, like this new fad, they go to the original, then they go to Pro, and then not long afterwards, they go, hey, next generation of video games. Like, god dang, I just bought the Pro or the Elites or the 2, and now you've released the 3s. Like, I just bought it. Even when they come out Nintendo Switch 2, whatever they come out next, I hope that whatever games are released for their games still come on the Nintendo Switch, because I don't have the means to buy a new console every time it comes out. Heck, I didn't get a Nintendo Switch until 3 years after it done been out, and I already got that
Well,
because I got second hand.
you're talking to the guy that's still waiting to get his 5. I mean,
Yeah, so consoles are just too hard to get. That's why I like PC consoles. I can upgrade those things little bit by little, make it a little bit better. But that's thanks to somebody that's in the tech industry that likes to find stuff for me.
huh? You
So
got a secret source and you ain't told me? You better PM me that name when we're done. I need some shit.
16 releases on PC. Was it 16 releases on the PC this month? What's 16?
Final Fantasy 16.
Oh yeah. Oh my Jesus, that one too. Oh, there's a giveaway
Just
on.
a reminder, like this is just a reminder. PC is not accessible to everybody, so PC gamers can go fuck themselves when they say that it's easier. It's not. Don't
Nah,
lie.
the
It's it
initial.
depends on the gameplay to me as to whether it's easier for console, easier for PC. I love both, and I'm gonna play it on whichever's easier for my ass to play it on.
Yeah, for me, PC it's the upfront cost is expensive, but then keeping it upgraded throughout the years is also relatively inexpensive compared to the
Don't
to
even try it.
what
It is expensive to keep it up.
I had no.
No, I mean,
I had no job south that you do well know that, and I could afford it by saving a
well,
little dollar here, a little dollar there, a little dollar here, and still be able to buy something
Okay.
used.
How many people depend on you though?
0.
what she's saying is for someone like you, it might be easier for you to upgrade a PC, but for someone like me, it's actually easier to buy a console because it's a one ticket price, and I'm there instead of having a family that I've got to steadily take a little from, little from, little from. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's easier budget wise. That's what she's saying.
Okay. Well, for me, it's just like buying a PC. You save up for the console. You save up for a PC part, kind of like thing. But I save up. That's what I do. I get a little money there and I put it back. I get a little money there, put it back.
Like for example, the person that is going to be playing with us on D&D, she's
Yeah.
never had a PC in her house because she could not afford it.
I might have remedied that situation though. So
Huh. That's the first time I ever heard somebody not having a PC, because I always thought like a PC is almost like having having a phone nowadays. It's like you got to look up, jobs on there. You got to
No.
look up information on there, news on there.
yeah, it's actually more common than most people know it.
Want to admit it.
Like here in my neighborhood, specifically where I live,
Hmm.
I bet you the first 6 houses around me don't have a PC in them.
I thought that was about like back in my like back when I was in high school, that was the case. Like barely anybody on my block had a computer, but like maybe 2 kids on the block had a computer. That was a house computer.
Everybody has 2 TVs.
Yeah, around here. I mean, most people. It's kind of crazy. It depends on where you're living. Like in some,
and your age and what you have to deal with.
right. So like the person we were talking about, I remedied her PC problem for her so she could play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to realize she has 3 kids and hasn't had a single PC because they don't even have a game console. Oh, they didn't have one until her oldest son got a job and saved his own money to buy it because they couldn't afford it.
Well, that was the same thing for me when I was in high school and even younger than that. I had to buy most of my consoles.
Right.
And if we did get a console for my mom, it was like after 4 or 5 years, the console's already been out and about, and she found it on eBay for like way cheaper.
Right, but yeah, that is still like that in some places, like especially in the neighborhood specifically that I live in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's crazy, dude.
Just because we have access, just because you have access, does not mean that everybody in the world has easy access to it. It's why PC gamers infuriate me because they're like, oh, it's just a little bit of sacrifice. That little bit of sacrifice could be their week's worth of food.
Right. It's not necessarily PC gamers. It's people that are PC elite, I would say.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like me, I'm not elite on console or PC. I'll play it on either one, whichever fits me better.
Mm-hmm. Well, in that line of sense,
and I get pissed off. I get pissed off with console elitists. They go out there and say, "Well, just go buy a fucking console." Well, they can't do that either. I mean, I just literally gave you an example that a kid had to wait until he's 18 and save his own money because they couldn't even afford a fucking PC in their house, let alone a console. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And in my neighborhood, I guarantee you, like, there's a reason why the kids are sitting on a porch reading a book. Because they don't got no TV service, they ain't got no streaming, they ain't got a PC, they don't have a game console. You know, they don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
They still. That's why the schools here still allow you to sign and check out Chromebooks at the school to bring home to do your schoolwork, because families can't afford it.
Yeah, I was about to ask. Like, a
now,
lot of school workers nowadays start going online or going on computers. It's like, what if the family can't afford a computer? How are they supposed to do it? Well, then the family would have to buy one.
And what they do is they literally have you sign out a Chromebook, and you're responsible for it. And as long as the Chromebook goes back undamaged, you didn't pay $1 for it. However, if that Chromebook gets broken, you're fixing to get billed for it.
Yeah. So it's like, it's no longer renting out a book from the library. Now it's renting a laptop from the library or from the school.
Yep. And it's locked down too. You can't play any games. You can't do anything but the schoolwork on.
Mm-hmm.
So they still, again, don't have access to play stuff. Now, I'm not saying that there ain't neighborhoods on the other side of town that every fucking house probably has 3 or 4 PCs and a laptop and 12 TVs and a TV by the pool, you know?
Yeah.
But around where I live, especially like where the plant is, there is a housing division that's behind it.
Yeah.
I can almost promise you.
Oh no. There's one family I know in that location. They have one console, and it's an old PS4.
And they all share it. They all go to that one house.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right, and they had one TV.
They if you want to play the console, you come over and ask, and if no one's on it, they'll let you play it. That's how they do it. And you're talking about a housing division that has probably 30 or 40 apartments, because they've got some single on the ground ones, and then they got a set that's double stacked in the center. One console in that entire fucking development.
Huh.
You know, it's some places, yes. You know, like when I drive through certain neighborhoods, I look around like, yeah, everybody's probably got a console or a couple TVs or a PC or something here, right? But I can tell you that in my neighborhood, I am by far we're rich bitches in according to people in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have a PC, let alone a PC that has 4 fucking monitors hooked to it, with another PC sitting over there with 5 monitors hooked to it.
Yeah.
You know, their kids don't have a console like my kids both have. A couple consoles apiece.
Mm-hmm.
It's it is hard sometimes when you get used to having that stuff and seeing it in most people's homes to forget that there's still people that can't.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And that makes them the minority, not the majority.
Right.
And that's really hard to really give a scale to something when there's still a minority out there that is so easily forgotten. But then at the same time, we displace the majority as if like that doesn't matter. It's really weird in that way because I grew up dirt poor, right? We got a lot of stuff from dirt cheaps and from thrift stores, but all of us had a
pawn shops and shit.
Pawn shops, and we literally we bought clothes from Walmart. There was no fancy clothes on us, and bought a lot of stuff from eBay.
I didn't get my clothes from Walmart. I got my shit from hand-me-downs, or either Granny and Granddad felt sorry for me.
So it was like either Walmart clothes, hand-me-down clothes, or thrift shop clothes. And I got the hand-me-downs from my brothers, so they were new clothes to me. But every year we're allowed to buy like 1 new or 2 new T-shirts and new pair of shoes for school and a backpack.
And 1 pair of pants.
1 pair of pants. That was it.
That's all you got
all year.
That was the cutoff.
Yeah, so hand-me-down clothes and that 1 new pair of things. You wore those things like every day you could because those were new nice stuff.
And if it was a fucking tight year, you was like, which shoe you want? Which shoe you want, the left or the right? Because that's all you're getting, motherfucker. 1 shoe.
But we still
we'll
managed
get the other shoe next week.
Yeah, but we still all managed to have like a box TV in our bedroom, like one of those big old box TVs. But every time my stepdad would buy a new TV for himself, because he bought himself new stuff. If he bought him a new TV, one of us got the old TV that he had, and they were always those big old heavy ones.
Big ass tube TVs that weighed 2,000 pounds.
It was maybe not until I dare say 8 years ago that I finally got rid of my last tube TV. Tube TV 8 years ago. Got rid of that last one. But all of us had
I'll put it this way. Growing up, 1 TV the entire fucking time and 1 computer.
That
was it. That was all we had at my house, and the only reason we had the computer was because my dad needed it for work.
But say it's probably because your dad. I'm just. Sounds like your dad.
That's all that was. I mean,
even back like that was in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Having a computer in your house made you look like a rich bitch.
That's like when we were talking the other day. Most people don't know that fucking dial-up sound anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know fucking I know AOL. That shit will haunt me in my sleep. I'll be laying there and I swear I hear.
And my dad always swapped between AOL, Net Zero, just use the trial ones, do free every single time because we couldn't
buy the magazine with the free trial inside of it every single time. And of course we only had 1 console in one of the kids' bedrooms, which was usually mine because my brothers fell out of console video games at some point. I was still the one in it, so when they want to play video games, they give it to my room. But yeah, for me, if I wanted to buy consoles, I had to save up for it, and then like I got a second hand. I bought my first Xbox from Michael, bought it for $100, but when it originally came out, it was like $300.
It's like when I remember one time when I was growing up, Mom and Dad, the NES that I still have over there, it was bought secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I didn't even have a fucking TV. So I have a console, I ain't got no TV, right? My grandmother come down one day. My daddy's mother come down one day, walked in, and Dad's sitting in there. You remember those old tube TVs that had the big ass fucking console unit that had the speakers built into them on each side? You had to have, if you lost the knob, you had to have a fucking pair of pliers to turn the shit. Yeah. So Dad had one of those in the living room, and it was like a friend of a friend at work had thrown it out, and Dad put that shit in the truck, brought it home, and fucked with it until he got it to work.
Mm-hmm.
Only color TV I'd ever seen at that point.
Yeah.
So my grandmother comes down and realizes there's this color TV, but I don't have a TV for my console. So she tells Dad, she's like, "Hey, you need to let him play his game some. That's what you got it for." He's like, "He ain't hooking that shit up to my TV. I won't never get it back, you know?"
Yeah.
So she got pissed off. Got in the fucking car and went to town. Went to the pawn shop and bought this little black and white tube TV, right?
Yeah.
Brings that shit back, helps me hook it up in my bedroom. Now I'm playing Mario. Understand? For me, Mario was black and white. Well, Dad walks by one day and he sees the game and he's like kind of interested because I got Duck Hunt up.
Uh-huh.
You know, and his little black and white ducks are flying and I'm shooting this motherfucker now. He likes to shoot.
Yeah.
So now suddenly he's interested in putting the console on the TV in the living room. So he hooks it up one day while I'm at school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I come home and this motherfucker's playing Mario and Mario's in fucking color.
Ha!
And I did not know Mario was red. I was like, what the fuck? The world has been turned upside down. I've been playing this shit for months and this bitch has been black.
I've been playing this all wrong.
Hey, Dad, what'd you do to my game? He's like, do nothing. This is the way it is. I'm like, that's not how it looks on my TV. He looked me dead in my eyes and said, son, my TV displays color. Yours is only black and white. I'm like, I've been robbed. I've been gypped.
Shoot, nowadays, I can't go to a thrift store and not see some TVs purchasable, you know, right there on the shelf that any kid can go pay like $5 or $6 and get one.
Well,
not exaggerating.
It don't cost hardly shit for TVs anymore. I mean, you can go get a damn 75-inch for $600. I remember when them bitches was like $3,000, you know?
Yeah. Heck, I even saw. I think the last time I went to the thrift store, they actually had a big wide TV there for $59. It was like good, I would say 55 or maybe 60-foot screen TV. I'm like, I would have got one, so I didn't buy it. But shit, if I was a kid, that would have been a godsend. Like, mommy, you can afford this, or I get like a week's worth of lawn cutting. I can do this.
Yeah, for real, no shit. But yeah, I mean, it's about. I've come to realize that it's more about where you live, what it costs to live in that area, and how many people you're supporting.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because, like, take for example, I could have took the money that I bought my car with and done other shit with it. I could have had my console and all kind of fucking games and a new TV. I mean, I could have went buck ass wild crazy.
Yeah.
But I sacrificed all of that because I wanted my car.
Yeah.
You know,
saved up.
I worked my ass off and that's what I got. So, but a lot of people nowadays, they forget that some people still have to do that. Like, you don't get fucking new PC parts overnight. You have to save up, like you said, to get your PC parts. Or heaven forbid some anonymous donator drops a package at your fucking front door and, you know, some shit like that. But
just speeds up the process way too fast.
the process, but, you know, the point is that they forget that sometimes you're still having to work your ass. Some people are still working their ass off to get shit, or other people are helping them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They forget because they can just go to the store when they decide they want a fucking new TV and buy one because, you know, they don't, it's just them and their wives or just them because they don't have a significant other and their cost of living is drastically lower.
Yeah.
You know, like I know people that make less money than me, but they have better shit than I do. And it's because they only have to support themselves. They're not married. They don't have kids. You know, they probably have a roommate that they're not supporting. They're splitting everything down the middle with, you know, so they have money that I don't have to spend.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way of the world.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I would, for certain points in my life, it was like, okay, either I save up a little money here and there, buy a bunch of ramen noodles and eat that for a week or so, or I, buy myself something nice and I save a little later on. It is sacrificing if you want something, but sometimes people make the wrong kind of sacrifices and put themselves into debt to gain something they want, rather than just work for it and maybe go without a few luxuries here and there.
Right. I mean, like, I holistically expected you to say hell no when I asked you for a picture of that cable the other day. But hey, thank you, by the way.
Well, you were curious, and I know you might find it, but that's a might because that's a weird chord.
Yeah,
but,
I might find it.
yeah. So and it's really aggravating because like I want to do artwork for people like I want to get, and there's too many dragons in that group. Everybody stop calling themselves
Just call her Dazzle.
Dazzle. Bedazzle, which I did a pretty good job for a freaking mouse. But I'm thinking, yeah. But I had a but I was, and like I'm thinking like this would be way quicker and way easier if I'm able to do it on my actual drawing tablet, because well that's what it's meant for. But I'm glad it turned out good, and I'm like, if everybody else wants me to do this kind of stuff, I can do that. And that's what again, this is a real quick story. That's why I was saying like, I don't really particularly like certain tools online, but if it can help me reach my end goal, and I could just modify it and change it and make it my own and make it where I want it to be, I'm somewhat okay with it. Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm like, if it's just a tool that I cannot stop, and I don't have to actually support it by giving it money, because I'm not giving it any money because it's all free. Because if I was giving it money, well then I'm supporting it. Then I can just use that tool to my expense and take advantage of it. But if seriously asking for money,
I had to have a conversation with someone the other day that I forget how there's some people that don't understand certain facets of technology.
Mm-hmm.
Like
even myself,
people,
sometimes.
Well, what I mean is like this person didn't realize that AI doesn't have creative thinking, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no sentience.
It doesn't have, it's not sitting there going, I think I'm going to draw a bear this way today. That's not how it works. It literally, you give it a set of parameters, it goes out and finds images that have different parts of that parameter, it pulls it out and then puts it together to make what you asked for.
Yeah.
And they're like, but no, it drew it. I'm like, no, it fucking didn't. It can't. It cannot draw. That's not how that works.
It just doesn't.
And they're like, well, if they take the pieces and put it together, isn't it original? I said,
think about what you say.
It's original from the standpoint that those pieces haven't been put together in that way before.
Yeah, it's just like
but
Legos.
It's not original from the standpoint that it literally took bits and pieces of other people's hard ass work for their artwork, stole it, and then stuck it in there.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh. I'm like, did you think AI was a person? It was sitting out there and you said, hey, like me talking to you going, Grumpy, I need you to draw me a raven, but I need like flame coming out of its eyes and all this stuff, and you start sitting down and drawing it. Just, do you think that's what it's doing? Because that is not what it does.
Yeah.
It literally just looks online at the database of all the images in the world and goes, I'll take this piece, I'll take this piece, I'll take this piece, I'll take this piece, we'll put it together, and here you go. And I was like, guess what? AI doesn't know to ask the artist if they can.
Yeah.
It just does.
And it's like Legos. It's like you put 5 sets of Legos, make one piece out of it. It's still Legos. It's someone's work. You just put it together like you're trying to make some Frankenstein. Right. But if you start painting the Lego, then it's like at that point, if you start painting the Legos, well, is it still the Lego's design?
Well, it's still shaped like the original brick. It's just a different color.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And it's like I told him, I was like, you got to think of it like a puzzle. Okay? Think of it like having 3 different puzzles, but all three puzzles have the exact same piece cuts, right? But they're different colors. So that means I can take all three of the right-hand corners, and they'll all fit no matter which puzzle I put them in. And one's blue, one's red, one's green. Well, if nobody's ever used a green one there, then that idea of using green in that spot is original. But the part itself is not, because I still took it from the other puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a puzzle. It's what it does.
Yeah. Pestilence says, speaking of CRTs, new one located shop, local shop charges $300. Ooh, $300 for a CRT TV. Of course, there are some CRTVs that are highly sought after because of their frame rates as a CRT TV, which some old classic video games just look better on. I wish I had a roommate who would make bills easier. Yes, roommates always make bills easier. It can. I have have sentences, but the programming of it would be difficult, not to mention unethical, due to they would always be impersonating technology, or no, technically. Yeah, it's always some impersonation. Of course, every single artist is impersonating another artist, and then they go off their design and they modify it or change it. It's like every video game takes ideas from other video games and then modifies it and change it to make it their own. It's always it's the intent that if you take something without intent to change it, is it theft? But if you take it and you attempt to change it and modify it and make it your own, it
also comes down.
I mean, then all those counterfeit artists that have been arrested over the years, you might as well let them go.
Right. The point is,
but they never changed the art.
The difference is that if I go and take an image that you drew,
The art without input.
If I go and take an image that you drew, either one of you, right? And I do something different with it. I still took your image, something you worked your ass off for. Now the difference is I know, because I have free form thought, that I should say, Grumpy, Stealthy, can I have this image? I want to do this with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can say yes or no. Fucking AI cannot do that. No. It doesn't have freeform thought. It cannot say, Grumpy, can I have this image? It just says, ooh, mine. Ooh, mine.
Well, in the same vein of it, you remember that one famous artist picture? It's like the world's all wavy, and there's this one guy in the middle of it going, oh, right? That famous art piece, someone took that same art piece and did Courage the Cowardly Dog as the one going, oh, in the picture. Yeah, and like it made it in that theme, and I'm like, it's still like, you know where that original idea is from. You know where that painting's from. It's iconic, and somebody just threw Courage the Cowardly Dog into that painting, and that was me transformative, right? It wasn't one to one, but the intent and idea was still there. And it was like almost an homage to the original artist. Now, you can't go back and ask that dude back then because he's dead. Can I take your picture and change it and put a famous cartoon dog in it? That's not very possible, but nowadays you can.
Somebody still has rights to it, whether it be the owner of the actual art, or whether it be a government-owned piece of work because it's considered a national treasure. Somebody still has ownership of it, and you still should have to ask the owner. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Using that AI art for business purposes.
Here, I'll give you a point.
Means to make money.
You a point. I can't say.
You're robot.
How about now?
There you go.
All right. So I know a young artist who had opened up an art studio, put her entire portfolio out to sell, right?
Yeah.
Selling her art. That's how she was making a living. She had saved up her first 10, 15 years, worked a regular job like everybody else to be able to open up this studio. A A person literally figured out all the keywords required to ask AI so that they would go and find every one of her pictures in her portfolio, and it would pull a digital copy of every one of them and send it to him. And then he turned around and made a web-based store and sold that same artwork for pennies on the dollar, and she ended up closing her shop and losing everything.
Yeah, it's when that kind of stuff is used for profit. Does the malicious intent or intent? Is that right? The malicious intent comes into the wrongdoing. Now, when it comes to just personal enjoyment, or let's say our D&D, where I'm not gonna make a nickel or a dime off of it, and I did all that work in that image for her to get closer to her idea of a character, I'm not malicious in any form. Nor can the idea of the AI be malicious because it doesn't have no intent. Now, the programmer, if they maybe buy it and pay for that program to do that thing, well, that's malicious intent because they're attempting to make money off of other artists' effort and work.
Right.
But that's what you don't. But that's what a lot of people don't understand is they have been paid to make this AI.
Mhm.
It's already happened.
Yeah,
Even though you may not be maliciously using it, it is malicious to begin with. They've already been paid to steal those people's artwork to create this AI.
somebody was paid to make the code somewhere, is
Yeah.
what she's saying. Somebody had to be paid, and at any point, if you're paid, you know what it's going to be used for when you're making it because they requested what they wanted.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like that music website that I did the music with. They pay the artists to make music, quite a few of them because they have their names on all the songs or all the music lyrics. They paid somebody to do the voices. I found that out they did voices. There's like 5 or 6 different voices, and they had like also like the kind of words and then a musical tone, and then they meshed it all together. But it's not like I'm going to an actual artist, the same artist that did the music and did the lyrics, and going, hey, I want you to sing this in a non-robotic or weird way because it does still sound a little weird here and there because, well, it's a mesh of words rather than one sentence of words. If I go to an artist and like let's say go to Discord or not Discord, go on DeviantArt and go, hey, I want to pay these 20 channels $100 a piece, and I can get all their artwork and put it into this program and use that as a way of forming this AI artwork. That would be more or less malicious.
That's
beneficial.
ethical.
Yeah, that's ethical.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem is we don't know because I don't know. I'm just gonna say it straight up. I don't know if any of them are doing that. Which are all we're all thinking they're just not right. So and if they did that,
they aren't because of the fact, and I can already prove this. Facebook, there's been granted. I appreciate the artwork. I get it. But there's a lot of Studio Ghibli. This is what Studio Ghibli could do with this, and this.
yeah.
And Studio Ghibli has already stated they do not want their artwork given to AI, and they are still doing it.
Artwork. Okay, yeah. So in that point, would our AI programmers have to, after they pay for that stuff, have to put it behind a subscription wall in order to ethically pay for that artwork and make AI out of it? I would think they would.
I would think they would, but the problem is what if they don't want to sell it? Then you've already created it and it's already done it.
By doing it freely, they are using public pressure to try to force it to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
It's not hurting. No, it is. It is hurting everybody. They just don't realize it.
It's like the way I pointed it out the other day is like we're using AI essentially in a way that's taking stuff from people when what we should have fired it up to do was like take all the collaborative information, test, and data that was on like different types of illnesses and have it work through all the posits that this didn't work this way because we should have done this way like this one did, and if we'd applied this technique to there to try to get us closer to something that would benefit humanity. But as a human group, we're all about capital.
Yeah,
And the first thing we seen.
the first AI, I just downloaded a AI maker art thing on my phone. The first one came up was this. Oh, come on, phone.
I can't see.
I know it's doing that. Okay, I gotta turn off the little. Let me turn off the little whatever you call it, the background changer thing. Okay, first thing came up.
Yeah, that one has to be paid.
That one, this I think is unethical. Because I'm sure they didn't ask for this artwork and they're making people pay for it.
Yep.
So like it has to show proof that they pay for the artwork in
Right,
order to get paid
right.
for
The
it.
only way for it to be ethical is not only do you have to pay for it, but you have to know that they paid for it.
Yes.
And that's the kicker. I mean, right now there is no way to guarantee whether you're taking a free service or paid service and know that whoever developed it or put it out there paid the original artist for the work.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way to know.
There's no way to know.
So in my thought process, and this may be solely me, understand this is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't know, if I don't see proof of the positive, all I can do is believe the negative. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. And my mind is, as long as I don't support it by giving it money in any way, and I don't make a profit off of it, and the artist would never even know about me because my channel's so small. If I get bigger, I would love to pay for actual artists, but or get better myself. Get better again. I used to be pretty decent, but then I could actually support the artist directly rather than have some program do it. But if I would buy that off my phone, I would totally not be supporting the artist at all. I would just be straight up stealing and giving it money to some other jack off that
You're
gets
paying a thief to steal it for you.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to support them in that means. So that's why I'm only accepting it kinda, but I still want to modify it a lot because I don't really. There's always something wrong with it. Always something wrong with it, and I gotta just accept that because AI art still kind of sucks. There's just no way around it. It still kind of sucks. It looks nice till you zoom in and you realize some eyes are smaller than the other one. 5 fingers. We got eyes crooked in different areas. Hair is either janky.
In places there shouldn't be hair.
Yeah.
Oh wait. In your case, places there's no hair in places that.
One day, I'm gonna color these eyebrows. This is be really weird. I'm gonna get on stream just out of the blue, be like, "Wait, your eyebrows!"
I'm telling you what, you color your eyebrows, and I'm gonna have to do something drastic.
But yeah.
Wait, you just want to see what I'm gonna do drastic? You see how this shit works?
Yeah, she
I'm
know
gonna
me.
color my eyebrows when she's like, "I'll do it for him just to see what you're gonna do."
just turn them blonde. They'll eventually bleed out, right? There's like, someone's blonde hair, the hair. Anyways, we went over an hour and a half, but I hope you, Lord Pestilence, hope you enjoyed it. Let me see. You can, you ever wonder why calling criminal justice system? It's because criminals rule the world. Technically, yeah, a lot of criminals are in places of power, and they're never brought to justice because they are the law. But that's not here or there. We're not going to that because that's political. We're not a political channel. Anyways, I will see y'all later. I gotta go do some cat litter, and that'd be fun. And I'm gonna probably watch some anime.
I'm going to buy some groceries.
Woo! We're gonna go do some work. All right. Anyways, as always, have a good day, have a good night, have a good life. Much love, y'all.
Bye.
Bye. 1, 2. I can just go to the end screen.
The grumpiest of bear that loves to play, to make people laugh in every way. His jokes are sometimes cruel and sometimes ass. With his wife for 15 years that is always having his back. Even when he dogs and cat are being a pain in the ass, he hopes this will always last, even bring the fun to the masses. Rolling to win, beating every dungeon classes, with his goofy faces and voice all over the place. He hopes to never give up on his dreams, to bring joy and even the facts. With his last podcast always beware, 'cause he coming after you and hope you'll be there. To hope you'll have a good day, a good night, and as always have a good life. Much love, good night. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, good night, much love. Have a good night, good night. Have a good night, good life. Ooh. This bear is always cool in his chair. Tell the end of streams, always beware, 'cause he coming after you and hope you'll be there. So hope you'll have a good day, a good night, and as always have a good life. Much love, much love. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Much love. Have a good night, good life. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, good night, much love. Have a good night, good life. The grumpiest a bear that loves to play, to make people laugh in every way. His jokes are sometime crude and sometime ass, with his wife of 15 years that is always having his back. Even when he dogs and cat are being a pain in the ass, he hopes this will always last, even bring the fun to the masses. Rolling dirt funny and beating every dungeon classes with his goofy faces and voice all over the places. He hopes to never give up on his dreams, to bring joy and even the facts with his laughs. Podcast every week and stream with friends, to bring that energy like big booty claps. He never get angry, but sure can get scared. With anime on his side, he's always prepared. Even though he's the grumpiest of bears, this bear is always cool in his chair. Till the end, his streams always beware, 'cause he coming after you and hope you'll be there. To hope you'll have a good day, a good night, and as always have a good life.